Archduchess Maria of Austria was the spouse of Maximilian II, Holy Roman Emperor and King of Bohemia and Hungary. She was the daughter of Emperor Charles V and twice served as regent of Spain. Life. Maria was born in Madrid to Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor and King of Spain, and Isabella of Portugal. She grew up mostly between Toledo and Valladolid with her siblings, Philip and Joanna. They built a strong family bond despite the father's regular absences. Maria and her brother, Philip, shared similar strong personal views and policies which they kept during the rest of their lives. Married life. On 15 September 1548, aged 20, she married her first cousin Archduke Maximilian. The couple had 16 children during the course of a 28-year marriage. While her father was occupied with German affairs, Maria and Maximilian acted as regents of Spain from 1548 to 1551 during the absence of Prince Philip. Maria stayed at the Spanish court until August 1551, and in 1552 the couple moved to live at the court of Maximilian's father in Vienna. During another absence of her brother, now King Philip II, from 1558 to 1561, Maria was again regent of Spain and returned to Madrid during that time. After her return to Germany, her husband gradually succeeded his father Ferdinand I as ruler of Germany, Bohemia and Hungary, which he ruled from 1564 to his death in 1576. Maria was a devout Catholic and frequently disagreed with her religiously ambiguous husband. She had great influence over her sons, the future emperors Rudolf and Matthias. Return to Spain. Maria returned to Spain in 1582, taking her youngest surviving child Margaret with her, promised to marry Philip II of Spain, who had lost his fourth wife, Anna of Austria, in 1580. Margaret finally refused and took the veil as a poor Clare, commenting that she was very happy to live in a country without heretics. Maria settled in the convent of Las Descalzas as Reales in Madrid, where she lived until her death in 1603. She was the patron of the noted Spanish composer Tomás Luis de Victoria, and the great Requiem Mass he wrote in 1603 for her funeral is considered among the finest and most refined of his works. Maria exerted some influence together with Queen Margaret, the wife of Philip III of Spain. Margaret, the sister of the future Emperor Ferdinand II, would be one of 3 women at Philip's court who would apply considerable influence over the king. Margaret was considered by contemporaries to be extremely pious, in some cases excessively pious, and too influenced by the church, and astute and very skillful in her political dealings. Although melancholic and unhappy over the influence of the Duke of Lerma over her husband at court, Margaret continued to fight an ongoing battle with Lerma for influence until her death in 1611. Philip had an affectionate, close relationship with Margaret, and paid her additional attention after she bore him a son, also named Philip, in 1605. Maria, the Austrian representative to the Spanish court, and Margaret of the Cross, Maria's daughter, along with Queen Margaret, were a powerful Catholic and pro-Austrian faction in the court of Philip III of Spain. They were successful, for example, in convincing Philip to provide financial support to Ferdinand from 1600 onwards. Philip steadily acquired other religious advisors. Father Juan de Santa Maria, the confessor to Philip's daughter, Maria Anna, was felt by contemporaries to have an excessive influence over Philip at the end of his life, and both he and Luis de Aliaga, Philip's own confessor, were credited with the overthrow of Lerma in 1618. Similarly, Mariana de San Jose, a favored nun of Queen Margaret's, was also criticized for her later influence over the king's actions. Children: Maria and Maximilian had 16 children, of which only 5 were still alive in the time of her death. Anne of Austria married her uncle Philip II of Spain. Ferdinand of Austria, Rudolph II, Holy Roman Emperor, Archduke Ernest of Austria, served as governor of the Low Countries. Elizabeth of Austria married Charles IX of France. Maria of Austria, Matthias, Holy Roman Emperor. Her son, Maximilian III, Archduke of Austria, served as Grand Master of the Teutonic Order and Administrator of Prussia. Albert VII, Archduke of Austria, served as Governor of the Low Countries. Wenzel of Austria, Frederick of Austria, Maria of Austria, Charles of Austria, Margaret of Austria, a nun. Eleanor of Austria. Ancestry.